This month we're talking just about 5 steps just to find contractors. I'm not going to get into budgeting. I'm not even going to get into presenting the bid. I'm just going to really drill down on exactly what it takes to find contractors. In the past, some of the topics that we've done along these lines are how to find, recruit, manage, and pay contractors. And we squeeze all that information into a really, really jam-packed hour-long workshop. And I think people leave and they're like, okay, I kind of remember like one thing of each of those topics, and I'm not even really sure how I can apply it to my business. So this year we're kind of stripping things down and we're really breaking it down to the absolute basics of each thing. And so that even if you've been doing this for a long time, it'll cause you to maybe second guess some things that you're doing and possibly improve on your current processes. Tonight, step 1 of finding quality contractors is to build a database. I say database, and I use that term in particular because I want you to think big. I want you to think a lot. There's a lot to it. Not a list. Save the list for Kroger, all right? Not a list of contractors. A database, like a lot of contractors. Starting out, you should have a database of at least 20 to 30 contractors. For those of you who've done any number of rehabs, do you think that that's enough contractors? Do you think it's anywhere even close? It's not. But what I don't want to have you do is say, well, I need all these contractors. Look, so then you end up not even getting any. Like, well, I need 200 contractors. So then you end up not even getting 2. So step 1, when you leave here tonight, you've got the paper in your hand. Write down the names of all the contractors that you're working with now, or that you're trying to work with right now. Build the list. That's the second step. Did I mention this was going to be really basic and really fundamental? The most basic things often get overlooked and not applied because you just take it for granted. Why does it need to be written down? And then look, just humor me, okay? You can put it in your phone. Do you know how many contractors I have on my phone? Dozens and dozens and dozens. So even though I have all these names in my phone, I don't remember who these people are. I've got all these pictures of that. Still, when it came time for me to map out my rehab, and trust me, I mapped it all out, the 8 stages, the whole thing, all my bids, 3 bids on everything. Even somebody who's doing it as long as I have, I still had trouble. What I learned was, as I was getting them out there, I had to feverishly text them and follow up with them constantly to get them out there. Because I'm telling you, it is absolutely crazy. And if you don't follow the right steps and you're not patient, you don't do it the right way, you're going to get yourself into a bad situation. So I want to prevent you from doing that. Build a database of 20 to 30 names. And I'm telling you, because as someone who has dozens of names in their phone, hundreds of pictures of trucks and signs and everything else in my phone as well, sitting right here, to extract that information, there's no contractor app. I mean, maybe there is, but I don't know what it is. To extract that out for the people that I needed that were available for my job right then, all it was just information overload for me. I didn't know who to call. But once I put it into my book and I organized it and I wrote it down, then it was much clearer to me. Why do you write things down? Here's a great example that I love to use. 80s bands. How many 80s bands? Sorry, Adam, except for you. 80s bands, you could probably, I could probably name, I don't know, I think probably like 50 or 60 80s bands, right? You probably could all come up with 30, 40, 50 maybe, right? But if I showed you a list of 200 bands from the 80s, you would recognize every single one of them because it's written down. You're not just trying to pull it. See, it's not our memory that's flawed. We remember it, it's our recall. So you remember everything. It's just going in there and pulling that back out. So you have little triggers that trigger your memory. So we have to have a list. That's why it's so important to write it down. So what I'm saying is the action step for you to take today when you leave here tonight or when you go home or whatever you want to do, even if you got it in your phone, write it down so it's on a piece of paper or in a notebook, and that's what I had to do. Because in your phone, you can't tell. I don't remember. This is what I would run into as I would call in these people. Who did I call again? I called this guy. I called this guy. And if you're calling enough, you don't remember, like, wait, was that guy? Was that the Aspenair? Or was that the other dude from Kentucky? Like, you don't remember. So if you write it down. Now, what this has on here, it's got the name of the person, where it came from, their phone number, email and web, and then how many times you tried to call them. Trust me, as I'm sitting in a coffee shop down in OTR calling contractors, I'm calling plumbers, I'm calling window people, HVAC people, I'm texting people, getting names off Craigslist. I'm like, oh, I remember all this. An hour later, completely forgot everything. I had no clue who I talked to. I got people calling me back from different numbers than I called them on. I don't remember. There's still one guy that he was awesome. I don't even remember what trade it was. I just remember that I really wanted to work with him. Literally don't even know what it was. Can't find his phone number. I called back somebody else. I thought it was him. I'm like, hey, Chris. Who? This is Joe. No, nothing. Write it down. The next step. Organize it. See, the thing with your phone, you got them all in here, but you don't really know when you try to call them. I mean, you can go back and look at you have to like remember that particular person and look to say, when did I try to call them back? Or look at all your text messages. If you put it right here, and again, this is why you're lining these up. This isn't your permanent database, but this is like your working database for your job. These are the people that I'm working with. You're going to organize the names. Here's how you're going to organize them. There's one way to do it. There's many ways to do it, but the way I'm going to tell you about tonight is this. It's really simple. You start with everybody that does work on the outside of the house, everybody that does work on the inside of the house, and then everybody that's just general workers. That's a very broad and basic way to organize it. The reason why you know why I'm keeping this so simple, so basic? If it's too complicated, you won't do it. Where this, it's right in front of you, you're doing it, you're writing it down, it's basic. And it's more about the exercise, everybody, of going through that and the discipline of going through it than it is anything else. Because you're building those disciplines into your business. Because guess what? You're going to do a similar exercise if you stick around for the next couple months and keep coming to these workshops. We're going to be going through the same level of discipline. If you're not disciplined enough to sit down and write down names of contractors, you're not going to write down the scope of work. You're not going to write down your budget. You're not going to write down your punch list. So you're training yourself along the way to do these basic things. And again, most people don't do them because like, oh, I got it. I budget, I've got it. But then what you end up doing is you come to a workshop and you say, I just finished this house. How did it go? Well, I don't really know yet. As soon as I give my bookkeeper the shoebox of receipts from the job, I'll see how I did. Do you think you went over or under? Oh man, I really messed up. I came in way under budget. Does that happen? No, right? On average, most investors go over $10,000 on their budget. Again, I'm not even going to get into budgeting tonight, but I'm just trying to build the basic disciplines into your business. It's just the fundamentals. This is a football, right? So break them up into 3 different categories. Outside, these are the people that you will need. These are the trades that you'll have to have. Roofing, gutters, siding, windows, concrete, and exterior painting. There's some companies that'll do double duty. They'll do, you get a windows and siding and roofing person, have them bid the whole job. But don't put your eggs in one basket and say, okay, this one person is going to do this job. Here's the thing. We see it all. We see spectacular dumpster fire failure real estate investors, okay? Don't mean failure as a person. I just mean the project went sideways and then some. One house, I've seen investors that just go boom, 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 and knock it out, and then one house, they stop doing all the things that they were doing before that made them successful, and it wipes all the money out that they had made in all the other houses. It only takes one because they stopped doing what the fundamentals, what made them successful. You need a lot of names because you're going to get a lot of bids because you got to drive these prices down. Going back to my window example. It took 5 people to come out. There was probably a dozen people that I was in touch with to finally get 5 to come out. All 5 of them looked at the job and said, in one way or the other, nope. They either stopped calling me back or just flat out said, I can't do the job. And then I finally realized, we'll get into this as a sneak preview of next month's. What I realized the issue is they looked at it, the job, and it looked like a mess. The windows were all boarded up. They couldn't really see them. Some of the windows were gone. Most of them were missing. There were some new windows in the front. The job just looked a mess. And I was down there meeting with them. I was saying, this and this and this. And what I figured out was it had the old window frames. It's a brick building. They had old window frames. They didn't want to deal with that. They didn't want to deal with going in there, running into the reframing, all that. And all they want to do, order the windows, deliver the windows, put in the windows, get paid, go to the next job. Order the windows, deliver the windows, put in the windows, get paid, and go to the next job. Right? That's it. That's what they want to do. So I found somebody else off of Craigslist that said, look, you guys do framing, you do this. Go in there and just rip all the frames out and just reframe the wood. So they did. I called all my window guys back. Only got a hold of 2 of them this time. I got bids from both of them. Oh yeah, we'll do it for sure, because they saw clearly having that clean job. They saw, okay, yeah, there it is, no problem. Yes, I'll do it. So they wouldn't even give a price before. But having those people on the outside is key. Inside people, there's more you're going to need. Electric, plumbing. These people should be licensed. 100%, especially now. Things have really, really changed over the last 5 or 6 years. I got a call 2 weeks after a house closed to the retail buyer, and they said, hey, my son's taking a shower, and my dining room chandelier is leaking. Like, those are 2 things that you don't want to hear together. And because the contractors that had done the work weren't licensed, it wasn't inspected. So not using a licensed electrician, not using licensed plumbers, you'll spend way, way more than you ever think that you're save when the job comes back later. Because you have to fix it. You can't not fix it. You literally have to. So it's not like it'll just go away. So licensed electricians, licensed plumbers, licensed HVAC. Framing, framers are hard to find, but you gotta have framing. You gotta have drywallers. You can't get most of them. You need all of these things. If you say, okay, well, I've got my electrician, I got my plumbers, those are sometimes a little easier to find, but I don't have a framer yet, I'll just wait. Well, then your electrician can't start, because then they'll do the electric as much as they can, but the framing's got to be done. You have to have them. So these people are a little bit harder to find. Drywall is pretty easy to find. Cabinets. You got to have somebody for your cabinets. Got to have somebody for your countertops. It could be different. It could be the same company. It could be different companies. Tile. Finished carpentry at the end. You don't want your demo. Most likely your demo person's not going to be your trim guy, right? Hopefully not. Maybe not. It's weird. I have a very specific skill set. I can do demo, and I can do finished carpentry. It's a very odd mix. So, but these are all the contractors that look, it's not a ton of categories. And again, by writing it down and say, okay, who do I really need? Instead of what you'll end up doing otherwise is you just start thinking of people. And like, okay, well, who's available? Okay, Nate Brown, is he still around? I can call him, or I can call this guy, or I can help this, and I can have Chris come over and do the landscaping, and I do the dance, do the carpet. But you'll miss your trades of what you need. And again, you're not lining up people for this job. You're lining up people for your business. You want to have a lot of people. The initial exercise is 20 to 30. 20 to 30. I want to see someone come back next month and have this filled out and have 20 to 30 names on here. General. You've got general labor, skilled labor, and a general contractor, maybe, just in case. Because here's what you're going to do. The next step is you're going to grow that list of 20 to 30. Everybody in here agreed when I said, is 20 to 30 contractors enough? Everybody said, heck no, no way. Because you're going to grow the list to 200 to 300 names is probably that would be a good, healthy database. would be 200 to 300 names. How many in here have ever worked in sales? Almost everybody. That's awesome. So as anybody knows, prospecting is key to being a successful salesperson. Having a big enough funnel. Look, you can treat people well. You can nurture your existing customers. But if you only have 3 of them, is that enough to buy your product? If you sell yachts, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't sell yachts. But if you're selling software or selling medical devices, 3 is probably not enough. So you've got to build a big funnel, a huge pipeline. How many? More than you think that you will need. If you think that you're going to need 20 to 30, multiply that times 10, you're going to need 200 to 300 people. And that's a big, nice, healthy pipeline. Because guess what? We've talked about it here in other workshops. You can, if you've got the relationships with all these contractors, you will run into situations where people are like, hey, you got this guy, you got that guy, you got this, I need this. Once you're in the business and you're doing rehabs, you have people calling you all the time for stuff. One of my good friends, he rehabs houses, he builds houses, he's a realtor. He also subs his people out when people ask him for a referral for a contractor. And he just makes, $500 here, $1,000 here, $200 there, because he's got this big list of contractors. He's like, all I'm gonna do, somebody needed their porch painted. So I just called Joe. I said, Joe, go out there and take a look at it. Tell me how much it's gonna cost. And then he called his buddy back and said, hey, yeah, it's gonna be $2,100. And Joe, he knows Joe's going to charge him $1,800. Easy. He just made $300 just for making the connection. It's not illegal. It's just capitalism. But a lot of investors, we talk about how you can, do rehabs for other customers. You do different things while you're between your jobs. If you build this database up, it's very, very valuable. Very valuable. Cool. See, are the wheels starting to turn now? We're entrepreneurs, guys, right? Everything you do, I don't expect you to work for free. I'm not going to tell you just build up 200 to 300 names just because I think it would be great and I read it somewhere on a website or on a webinar. I did it because I've seen people do it. I've seen it work. I've done my own rehabs. I know how many people it takes, and I know how many people I wish that I had. Okay, so where do you find them? That's a great question. All right. There's analog places to find them and there's digital places. Let's go to the analog ones because these are more fun. Truck signs. Like I said, one of my favorite hobbies is taking pictures of trucks and cars that have signs on them, particularly when I'm driving down the road. Not if anybody else is in the car with me. If it's just by myself, I'll do it. Because you see those signs all the time. I've got some of the best contractors I've ever worked with because they had a sign on the side of their truck. So one guy at Home Depot, which is the next one, that had magnets, like the business card magnets or whatever, just all over the side of his truck. So he said, oh, I'll take that. It's pretty clever, right? So having those people just constantly, every single time you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, you can build up that database. You could probably get 5 or 6 just every single time you go to Home Depot. And if you're doing a rehab, you probably go to Home Depot a couple times a day. All right, home improvement stores. So you're getting information from contractors there. Particularly, you're getting them off of their trucks or wherever. Sometimes on business cards laying around different places. Another reason why you need that many, and if I haven't been clear about this, is it's really easy to go out and just find a home improvement company or just a regular contractor. But you have to find the contractors that know how to work with investors. Referral is also a big one. The heating and air person that I ultimately found for my house, even though my own guy stood me up, was just from another investor. Hey, who do you guys use? We do it around here all the time. We got an internal group chat thing. We just, hey, has anybody got a good this guy? Got a good electrician? Got a good... Referrals are great. Referrals are absolutely great. RIA or networking events. Any networking events, things like this. There's all kinds of meetups. There's all kinds of real estate investor groups. Particularly when you're a younger, or when I say younger, I mean your business is a newer business as a real estate investor, you've got to be really doing whatever you can to cobble together all these resources, go to all these events, go to RIA, go to this. You never know where you're going to meet somebody or you're going to run into some opportunity you never even heard about. All right, another place, online. There's a lot of places online, but again, Angie's List, probably not as good for what you're looking for. We've heard some feedback from some of our customers at Facebook Marketplace. I don't really know exactly what that is, but they said that's a great place where they get a lot of contractors. They've had a lot of luck with that recently, just posting stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Personally, I've had a lot of luck with literally just saying, posting on my status on Facebook, hey, does anybody, I'm looking for a recommendation on this, and it does a little thing. It knows you asked for a recommendation, and it does stuff. But I've got a lot of good names on there, from there as well. I mean, your own network of people has a lot of information in there. But we've met the harder to find trades are sometimes really good. Facebook, masonry work, like brick, not concrete, but like brickwork and stuff like that. I've gotten 5, we're doing a big project out east, and we got 5 masons just off of Facebook. I don't know where else I could find them. So that's been great. Nextdoor is an app that's really cool. It's you just download it on your phone, and it's tied into where you live. So it's based on literally where you live. So you can only be part of the next door that's in your area and like the surrounding communities. But you can post on there, hey, looking for a plumber, looking for this. And other people will post on there too, so you can post on there as well. It's also free. Craigslist is good. Like for just laborers and stuff, it's amazing the people that you find on Craigslist. It is just absolutely amazing, the people you find on Craigslist. You got to vet them. You got to have a good process in place. We'll talk about that next month. But got a couple good workers off of there, even recently, that now we've referred out, that these guys were scrambling for work, and then they came across you guys now, and I don't think they've stopped moving for like the last month. So it was good for them and good for our customers as well. So Craigslist is good as well. Again, you probably you want to stay away from like the Home Advisors or the Angie's List. You'll get good quality people there for sure, but you just won't be able to afford them because they're not really used to working with real estate investors. All right. Okay, step 5 then is reach out, and that's the last piece. So you've organized it, you've said I'm going to build a database, I've wrote it down, chopped it up by all these different categories, grown it now to a couple hundred people. Now you need to start reaching out to these people. And as you're trying to get a hold of them, you want to try to reach them in any way you can. Phone will not usually work very well. Texting we found to be very, very good because it gives them a chance to operate, to respond back on their timeline. So texting is great. Calling is okay as long as they have your number, but they typically don't have your number saved in their phone, so they don't know who it is. The one thing that you're doing when you're reaching out, you'll notice, see right here, we've got the call logs, how many times I try to get a hold of them, and then a rating. If the person is a pain in the neck to deal with when you're just trying to get a hold of them to go look at the job, do you really want to deal with them all the way through your entire project? So you can tell how well do they communicate, do they respond quickly, are they polite? Hey, sorry, saw you called, don't have a chance right now, but I'll talk tomorrow, or this. And don't confuse them being busy with them being poor communicators. They may just be really busy, like the heating and air guy that's still never got this guy out there. We probably had 4 things. Look, he was always polite. Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it today, not this, that, they kept an open line of communication. If you can get contractors that will just communicate back with you, that's a huge advantage right there. All right, so those are the 5 steps to finding the quality contractors. Building a database, writing it down, organizing it, growing it, and the 5th step is reaching out to your contractors.